They're not good enough to start. They're not even good enough to play. But they do talk a good game. So come join Lou and Jose from the sidelines where all the best sports discussions happen anyway. Welcome in to the Benchwarmerz podcast.
Welcome into the program, everybody. I'm Lou Ruggieri. That is Jose Ortiz, and this is the Benchwarmerz podcast. Wherever, whenever, and however you happen to be listening, we appreciate you taking some time out to spend it with us. Hopefully you've enjoyed the ride thus far. Hour number one flown by. We went through the top 5 stories in the league according to us. We touched on some NFL news, the highlights and lowlights of the week, along with our moral lesson as it relates to the NFL. Coming up, we have our Week 9 picks, and we have our sports betting line that we're going to recap and kind of tell you whether that's a good idea or bad idea based on our records. Hopefully you're following all of this along with us on the iHeartRadio podcasting app. We're on the newly formed Amazon Podcasts. We're always on Apple Podcasts, Google Play. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, and our email, the Benchwarmers Podcast at yahoo.com, Benchwarmers with a Z. You can also follow us along on Twitter at the BW Pod. And right now, it's time for our first annual midseason Benchwarmers Award, Benchwarmers Midseason Award, I guess is the better way to say that. So, Jose, I'd like to go through your take for midseason MVP. We have Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and Midseason Coach and Rookie of the Year. So, where would you like to start with our awards? Would you like to go right at the top and start with MVP, or you want to leave MVP till last?
I'll start with MVP. Why make everyone wait?
All right. Fair enough.
Russell Wilson. I think I'm not setting the world on fire here, but he's been basically a level above. I think what you were just talking about with Patrick Mahomes, that part of the reason we're not talking that much about him is because Russell Wilson has been playing great. I don't think that you're in love with, based on the way you said it, I don't think you're in love with the phrase "let Russ cook."
I hate it.
So I've noticed. It seems that you don't like things that other people like. I've noticed it. Like if a lot of people are saying I like it, Lou's gonna be like, I don't like it just because everyone says they like it.
It's not just because everyone says it. It's just I don't think that it's overused, and it's not a great reference because let Dalvin cook makes sense to me. That's why I keep pushing that. Russ. Why?
I'm not 100% sure where it came from. I honestly,
it was a Seattle thing, and it's like I guess it's just supposed to be like obviously it's let him throw the ball, but what? Okay, is he a chef? Did he do like a cooking show? Is he what's the? I don't understand the parallel. But
either way,
he's still the MVP.
Yeah, they've been letting him throw the ball. He's been just outstanding. 26 touchdown passes this year. I think he only has 6 interceptions. He's been 6 interceptions. He's been incredible. The Seahawks are 6-1, looking like the best team in the NFC. If there's ever a year, and I don't know if you realize this or not, Russell Wilson has never received a vote for MVP at this point in his career, which is absolutely crazy. So I think there's going to be almost like, unless someone does something remarkable in the second half of the season, I don't see any way that Russell Wilson doesn't, or if he gets injured, I don't see any way he doesn't win MVP.
I agree. I also found out today, strangely, that Ben Roethlisberger has never received an MVP vote, which is a little less surprising than Russell Wilson, but still somewhat surprising, given some of the seasons that he's had.
That is a little surprising.
So I agree with you. Wilson is as our midseason MVP. I don't think there's even a question about that. So Defensive Player of the Year, or of the half year, sorry. My Defensive Player of the midseason is I'd like to give it to DK Metcalf, actually. For that unbelievable play he had against Budda Baker, where he showed in one play, DK Metcalf showed more effort than the entire Cowboys defense has through 8 weeks of the season from top to bottom. And I hope that Mike McCarthy, which I don't think he's done because I don't think he's a very good coach either, I hope that he sat down his defense and said, that is an offensive player who made you guys all look really bad because he put in more effort than all of you combined.
In fairness, though, DK Metcalf runs a freaking 4.340. Like that's like, I could put as much effort as he's putting in. I'm just not that fast. He's a freak of nature.
The fact that he caught Budda Baker is the icing on the cake. The fact, it's that he tried, and had he not been putting in 100% effort, he could have very easily just been like, I don't feel like running 90 yards right now. Like, just let him go, whatever. I'm just gonna, he could have. You see players all the time pull up and kind of just, they make the fake attempt, but okay. But if DK Metcalf, he's an offensive player, so you can make an argument that he can't do it. So I'm gonna give it. And this is again not setting the world on fire either. Aaron Donald is going to be my official defensive player of the mid-year because he's got 9 sacks, he's got 29 combined tackles thus far, and he's just, 9 sacks is great. But if you watch any Rams game that you watch, he gets double teamed on basically every play. So he's got 9 sacks getting double teamed almost his entire life. And that is remarkable if you really think about it, because he's going up against 2 professional NFL players. And he still manages to basically lead the league in sacks at this point.
Yeah, I tried really hard to pick someone else besides Aaron Donald because I thought that I didn't want to be obvious, but there's no other one no one else to really pick. He's been just tremendous, and you're right. Not only is he double teamed on every play, but when he doesn't make the tackle or he doesn't make the sack, he's affecting the play still, which is not a statistic that's recorded, but it's almost like way back in the day where they say about Shaquille O'Neal in basketball, how he alters more shots than anyone else in the NBA. Aaron Donald alters more offensive plays than any other defensive player in the game right now, and I don't think it's close. It's Aaron Donald for defensive player of the half year.
Yeah, and for the record, we didn't actually compare notes before this, so we're on the same page here for the most part. I'm curious to see if our offensive player of the year is the same. I'm going to be shocked.
Well, so I'm going to say with offensive player of the year that I thought it would have been easy to pick Russell Wilson just because. Right. He's also been. So I tried to go in a different direction
me
and
too.
Not just pick Russell. So the player that I picked was Alvin Kamara.
Oh my God, we picked the same guy.
No way.
I swear to God, I swear to you. I have it right here. 987 scrimmage yards, 7 touchdowns. I 100% agree, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's just you just look at a guy. It really what kind of put it over the top for me is what I was saying to you before. Like, how are people not like? How is he wide open?
Yes.
How is he just always have all this space to run? It's obviously something he's doing. It's obviously something about his ability. He's averaging 141 yards from scrimmage per game. He's unstoppable. Everyone in the world knows he's going to get the ball. Basically, 50% of the time he's on the field, and he still manages to be overly productive. He almost always makes the first guy miss. He's just a tremendous offensive player. If it's possible, I was underrating him a little bit this offseason, and I am completely just on the other side. It's one of the best players in the game right now.
Yeah, and I think I've said this. I think I said it last week. I owe Alvin Kamara an apology because I thought once Mark Ingram left that he would take a hit, and he's on pace for almost 2,000 scrimmage yards, which is it's crazy on its own. But then you factor in that the top wide receiver, the top target, the top offensive player for the Saints, Michael Thomas, has been basically in and out of the lineup all year. And then the second wide receiver, Emmanuel Sanders, has been out too. He's been out multiple games. So, like you're saying, defenses have one guy to prepare for. I mean, Taysom Hill doesn't really scare me that much, and Jared Cook is 1,000 years old. Alvin Kamara is the only guy that you really have to game plan around because he's the only guy on that team that can affect your defense in a way that is just catastrophic. And no one seems to be able to find the answer because, and to his credit, and again, this is another apology, once Alvin Kamara so far has been, and I can't remember the last person that fits this mold, who after they got paid, much like I was saying against Zeke last hour, once Alvin Kamara got paid, it almost looks like he got better. As opposed to sort of putting it in cruise control and being like, all right, well, I got paid. I'm not getting hit. Who cares?
I guess Aaron Donald on defense is the guy who's really taking. I
feel like Aaron Donald, he sort of stayed amazing. What he was already doing.
Yeah, I guess that's
I feel like
true.
It didn't drop off, but it didn't I don't know. Maybe I guess that's fair because Kamara is not. He's not doing better. Well, he is kind of doing better. I don't know.
But you're right at the running back position. Certainly, at the running back position, I'd have to think about it.
Derrick Henry, I guess, maybe he got paid, and it seemed like he started slacking off a little bit early, but he's been coming on pretty strong this year. So you can put him in that category too. But okay, so coach of the year, I know we differ on.
Yeah,
my coach of the year, we still haven't gotten rookie of the year. I'm curious to see if our rookie of the year is the same. Coach of the year for me is Brian Flores, because the Dolphins, I feel like Dolphins, everybody saw Ryan Fitzpatrick and sort of just felt like the Dolphins were still in that last leg of the rebuilding year. And, he's made some gutsy calls. He's changed the culture in that locker room very clearly. He signed some game changers, and he just, the things that he's done, it's clear that the Dolphins, Dolphins fans can feel confident in their future for the first time in quite a while. So hats off to Brian Flores, who also seems to be the first Bill Belichick disciple in the coaching scheme anyway that has been successful. Mike Vrabel wasn't actually a coach under Bill Belichick, so that I don't count him in that lineage. But Flores done a great job so far. I'm curious. I'm very, very interested to see how next year pans out for them when they get a fresh start with a solid, young, good quarterback.
Very, very impressive season so far for the Dolphins and Brian Flores. He deserves a lot of credit, and he definitely. I just want to throw out that I thought about Mike Tomlin as another person. The Steelers are 7-0. But I think maybe similar to, not quite similar with what's happening with Patrick Mahomes. You just get used to the Steelers are almost always at least relevant and usually good. So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, fine, they're 7-0, whatever.
Yeah.
But I picked Cliff Kingsbury as my coach of the year, or coach of the half year.
Yeah.
You know how many games the Cardinals won last season?
Wasn't it like 6?
They were 5-10 last season.
Oh wow.
They already have 5 wins this year. So. Obviously, he's doing a tremendous job in taking that team from point A to point B. They look good on offense. They've looked improved on defense. I'm not quite sure how far I expect them to go, because I think there's some pretty good teams in the NFC. But I'm very, very impressed with what I've seen so far. So Cliff Kingsbury is my choice for Coach of the Year there.
Yeah, I think that's great. And if you think about it, I mean, again, in context matters. Put the Cardinals in the NFC East. and they're probably a 1 seed, right? I mean, they're not playing in the toughest division of football. I mean, they might just be crushing. So it's interesting to see in that, even in that division, the chips are stacked against them, and they're still having success. I think Kingsbury is a great vote for Coach of the Year, Coach of the half year. So that leaves our Rookie of the half year. I don't know who yours is so far. We've had the same MVP, defensive and offensive players of the year. My Rookie of the Year is Chase Claypool.
Okay.
And he's come on strong. I know there's some other good candidates out there, but in a couple games, he's been quiet the last 2 weeks a little bit, but I think that's finally because defenses are kind of picking up on the fact that he's unbelievable. But he still got 375 yards and 5 touchdowns through 8 games. So he looks like the real deal, and the Steelers just proved one more time that they just are unbelievable at drafting wide receivers and linebackers. I don't know who it is. I think that the Patriots, if they're going to steal anything from anybody, they should film the Steelers scouts and how they make their decisions, because as good as the Steelers are at choosing wide receivers, that's how bad the Patriots are at choosing bad wide receivers. That's how good they are at choosing bad wide receivers. So
it's a solid pick. And I actually considered Chase Claypool. I also thought about Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
I love him as well. But I kind of came to Justin Herbert as the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that's good.
He's 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, over 1,800 yards passing. Only 6 games started. So he's averaging over 300 passing yards per game. He's been great, and a few weeks ago I was trashing Sam Darnold, and maybe I was going a bit too far there, but I was trashing Sam Darnold, and one of the things I said is, like, when you have a young quarterback on a team that's maybe not that good, you want to see that spark. You want to see, like, every now and then a play, maybe a quarter, maybe a half, maybe a full game, where you're like, yes, this is our guy for the future. This is the guy that we want throwing the ball for us for the next 10 years. I haven't seen that from Sam Darnold, but I saw that almost instantly, like game 1 from Justin Herbert, and he's only gotten better every game. And now the future is incredibly bright over there. So I'm very excited for Justin Herbert and what they can do with the Chargers.
Yeah, that's a great pickup, and I kind of forgot about him actually, because I think maybe because you watch him play and it's like he looks like a seasoned veteran already.
Yeah.
And even going back to, I think, Hard Knocks, when they did the LA teams this year, just watching Hard Knocks and you see veterans on the Chargers watching Herbert take snaps and to make throws, and they're astonished. They're like, "Wow, that's the new guy!" Like, "Oh my God!" So you're getting people that, rookies are usually looked down on. You get veterans that are kind of like blown away. I mean, that's a pretty good omen.
Yeah.
And yeah, Herbert looks like the real deal. I mean, he's looking like the best in that class, maybe aside from Joe Burrow. And I think that's obviously it remains to be seen. But as of,
it looks better than Joe Burrow so far. He was my second pick, and he's had better numbers than Joe Burrow so far this season. So
yeah, I mean, he's also surrounded by a better team, I think.
Fair.
That's fair. From top to bottom. And I'd be curious to see if they flip flopped, but where you land matters. So that's a good call. So all right, so that's our midseason awards. We're gonna we'll touch on that a little bit more.
Can I throw one more in?
Sure.
I had a surprise one here.
Sure.
Our comeback player of the year so far is Ben Roethlisberger. I just wanted to give him some love. He was out all last year, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Has the Steelers off to a 7-0 start. I think Ben Roethlisberger deserves some love for comeback player of the year.
That's a pretty good one. Wow. I'd have to think about who would I give.
I don't want to throw that out at you. It was something I had written down on the side. We didn't talk about it before. It was just I wrote his name down because I felt bad I didn't have any spot to put him.
Yeah,
like, he deserves some recognition here, but everyone's playing so well.
It does seem interesting that they are 7-0 and we didn't really give them any awards, but
well, you did. You gave Chase Claypool.
Well, yeah, Claypool. I guess that's true. I'm trying to think. I don't know who my comeback player of the year would be at this point. I guess Ben's a pretty good one.
I'm trying to think of who was injured last year and who's back this year. I can't really. Is it usually that way? Is it injured, or did you just have a bad? Because that's one thing I don't know about comeback player of the year. Is it you were trash last season and now you're good this year, so you're comeback player of the year, or is it you were injured last season?
Can I give it to Ryan Tannehill as like a career award? Because he finally finished his first full season as a Titan, and he's been night and day different from when he was on the Dolphins with, not surprising, Adam Gase.
Yeah, I don't think that's bad. I think Will Fuller also is a player to think about. He's been perennially injured year after year, and he's actually been mostly healthy this season.
Maybe Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, Gronk. That's probably Gronk is a good pick. Yes.
Absolutely. All right, I'll go with Gronk. So all right, so that's it. Those are our midseason awards. We'll be doing this every year for the foreseeable future. So hopefully we have many more of these to come. So we're going to take a break, and it's already time to go to week 9. We have to play Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is and touch on our sports betting, how we're doing, what we're looking at, and what we're looking at for next week, and make our picks. So let's won't waste any time. So stick around, and we're going to come right back on the Benchwarmerz podcast.
You can reduce your risk of COVID-19 by cleaning and disinfecting frequently touched items and surfaces every day. These items include remotes, tables, counters, light switches, doorknobs, handles, toilets, and sinks. Wear disposable gloves to clean and disinfect. If you can see that the item is dirty, wash first with soap and water or another general cleaner. Then use a household disinfectant to kill germs. Follow manufacturer's instructions for application and proper ventilation to safely use the product. For phones or other electronics, follow the manufacturer's instructions for cleaning and disinfecting. If no instructions, use alcohol-based wipes or sprays containing at least 70% alcohol. Dry surface thoroughly. For more tips, visit cdc.gov.
And now back to the Benchwarmers podcast with Lou and Jose.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. I am Lou Ruggieri. That is Jose Ortiz, and this is still the Benchwarmers podcast. The show's flying by. We're in our last segment, hour 2. We've been trucking right along, top 5 stories in the NFL according to us. We touched on some NFL news. We gave you a highlight and lowlight of the week, or even the moral lesson that we learned from the NFL this week. And last segment, you should rewind it if you didn't get a chance to hear it. We gave out our midseason awards for MVP, Defensive and Offensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and even we threw in a little comeback Player of the Year at the end. And I felt really good about all those. I think that's as good as anybody's going to pick so far. So speaking of good picks so far, well, first, I hope you're following along with all of our picks on the iHeartRadio podcasting app, on Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube. We're on Facebook and Instagram, the Benchwarmerz Podcast. We're also on Twitter at the BW Pod, and you can email us at the Benchwarmerz Podcast at yahoo.com, Benchwarmers with a Z. It's time to recap. Jose, I know you're our faithful secretarial duties. You're much better at keeping notes than I am. Our Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is, our sports bet for last week. I believe that
You won again.
Did I win?
No, you won. You had the Raiders at the Raiders were getting 2.5.
That's right.
Over the Browns, and that puts you at 6-2 on the season. You've been killing it with our bets. I don't know. It's just kind of, I'm not really a gambler other than fantasy football, and this experience has just reinforced that. Like, this is why I don't bet. This is why I don't bet, because if you're just saying straight up wins and losses, I can do that. But as far as like picking how much they're going to win by, I've never been good.
Green Bay, did you pick?
Yeah, I took Green Bay at -6.5 at home. So I don't know if you knew this. Coming into this season, Mike Zimmer and the Vikings were like 1-17 on the road, at outdoor on the road. So like, I thought I had this whole thing in my back pocket. Yep. I was like, they never play well outdoor on the road. I
actually thought that was a very good bet, honestly.
And not only did the Packers not cover, they lost. So I just threw up my hands like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, the process is there, but obviously it's not the correct process.
I guess
I'm not coming
that's
with the right
the
picks.
old saying. Division games, records go out the window. Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm at 3-5. I've got to get it going here. I feel like this is a must win. This is starting to get embarrassing a little bit. So you're 6-2. And I'm just going to ride on your train here. The Raiders, I'm taking the Raiders -1.5 at the Chargers.
Okay.
Week 9.
Interesting. That actually should be a really good game. That's a division game, so we'll see. I am going to go with the Seattle Seahawks are -2.5 at the Buffalo Bills. And I don't know. I mean, the Bills defense is okay, and the Seattle defense is not okay, but the Seahawks offense, I feel like the disparity between the Seahawks offense and the Bills defense is not as great as the other way around. So the Seahawks
Bills have no chance.
I feel like this is going to just be a rout unless there's like a blizzard that I'm not accounting for. I mean, the Bills, they looked okay, but they played the Patriots, who were basically like playing with you and me, a receiver at this point. So I just think with a quality offense and one of the best offenses in the league, I just don't see how the Bills are able to keep up with the Seahawks. So give me the Seahawks -2.5 at the Bills. And that leads us to our Week 9 picks. So if let's see, last week, how did we do? We did. I think I didn't do that.
This past week you didn't do well. So you were 7-6 this past week. Not great, not bad.
Over 500, I'll take it. But
yeah, I was 9-4.
Nice.
So I gained 2 games on you. You are overall heading into Week 9, 73-28-1.
Nice.
I am 72-29-1. So I'm
nice.
1 game behind you. Big week ahead. We're going to jump right into the picks here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thursday Night Football, Packers at 49ers.
Oof. This game is harder than it seems like it should be. I feel like I'm supposed to say Packers, like, with no question, but I don't know, the Packers with that stinker against the Vikings. It makes me question them because Vikings ran all over them, and I understand that the 49ers are down to like their 17th string running back, but they still seem to be able to run the ball somehow, and maybe that's that same zone blocking scheme that the Shanahans are famous for. But I guess all that being said, I'm still going to go the Packers because they're on TV, they're on prime time, and Aaron Rodgers seems to always find a way to bounce back after an embarrassing loss. So give me the Packers.
Yeah, Packers all the way. The 49ers are going to be on the 3rd-string quarterback or 2nd-string quarterback. I don't know if it's Mullins or Beathard, but I'm not expecting much. 49ers short week too. It's just going to. I feel like it's going to be ugly.
And by the way, these picks are just straight up wins and losses. So
yep. Yep.
No points. We're not that good.
All right, next up, Texans at Jaguars.
Oh,
Battle of one-win teams.
God.
And by the way, you and I had a discussion about earlier about burying these games with one-win teams.
Yeah.
This is a game that you could bury, right? Texans at Jaguars, the 2 wins. Throw this at a 1:00 slot. If you happen to be in the market, you watch it.
Yeah.
We're not putting this on Sunday Night Football.
I mean, it begs the question: if a game is on TV and no one watches it, was it really on TV? It's I guess give me the Texans, but just because they have offensive firepower, ugh.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to pick that I'll go back and forth on, but I think I'm taking the Texans as well. The Jaguars are probably going to be without Gardner Minshew next week. He wasn't even that good, so now you're going to go against the guy who he was better than. Yeah. So just give me the Texans. Here's another great game: the Giants at the Washington Football Team.
You know what? Strangely, this is probably going to be a very good game because both of these teams are terrible. I'm going to go Giants because I don't really have a good reason why. I feel like their offense is a little better than the Redskins. Kyle Allen looks good, but the Redskins defensive line is pretty good though. No,
I'll tell you, I'm taking the Washington Football Team here. I usually like to when I'm not sure about a team, like who to pick, I like to lean. Listen, the Washington Football Team had a bye last week, this past week, so they're going to be, you would think, pretty prepared for the Giants coming in.
Yeah,
Daniel Jones is known to fumble and turn the ball over quite a bit, so give me the Washington Football Team.
Yeah, you have a good case there. I'm going to stick with the Giants, and I don't have a good reason why.
It's fine. Sometimes it's just about your gut.
Maybe Daniel Jones will actually run for a full 90 yards this week.
Oh my God. We didn't talk about how embarrassing that play was.
We don't have to.
Okay.
The poor guy. He knows what happened.
All right. This is actually a really good game coming up here. Ravens at Colts.
That game is going to be surprisingly good, I think. And, again, we talked about the Ravens earlier on the show and how they're hitting their head on a ceiling right now, it seems like. And the Colts, big win over the Lions. They looked good. They put up 41 points. I mean, they really showed up. I'm gonna go with the Ravens because I think old Phillip Rivers is gonna rear his head, and old man Rivers is gonna throw a couple picks to Marcus Peters, who likes to take chances on balls, and Calais Campbell is gonna make problems for them on the defensive line. I think it's gonna be the Ravens defense leading the way on this, and I think the Ravens are gonna sneak out the win.
Yeah, the Ravens have one of the better running defenses in the NFL, and if the Colts can't run the ball on you, we can't expect Phillip Rivers to get the job done. Although while they have looked good in the last 2 weeks, they haven't really played a good team this season. I expect the Ravens to be very upset about losing to the Steelers this past week and come in and take care of business. Lions at Vikings.
Oh. Wow. I don't. Oof. You know what? Give me the Lions because I feel like this is. I'm not falling for this crap again. This is the Vikings. They're up 1 week, they're down 1 week. The Lions, they win a game they're not supposed to win. They lose a game they're not supposed to lose. And this feels like one of those games where the Lions, Matt Stafford's going to remember that he's a good quarterback, and he's just going to carve up the Vikings defense. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, I think this is going to be like a 40-37 game, but I'm going to take the Vikings here. I just think that the Vikings are at home. I just feel like they're playing a little bit better. Lions are going to be without Kenny Golladay this next week coming up. Yeah, give me the Vikings.
All right, that's fine.
Bears at Titans.
Oof.
Sneaky good game.
Yeah, I mean these teams are almost mirror images of each other. I'm going to take the Titans just because I feel like their offense, the Bears' offense is so limited. The Titans' offense isn't great, but I think the Bears' offense can make the Titans look like the Chiefs at some point. So, give me the Titans.
Yep, I've got the Titans as well. Panthers at Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yep. And we'll talk about that.
Yeah, there's nothing been said.
Yeah. Seahawks at Bills.
I got to go Seahawks. Yeah, I took the Seahawks as my money line bet, so I have to take them to win.
Seahawks are getting into that spot where it's hard to take another team against them at this point.
Yep.
Broncos at Falcons.
Wow. This has just got painful all over it.
I don't know where to go on this one.
I'm going to go with the Falcons just because I have to, it's like player studs, it's like they're still offensively a juggernaut when they get their act together. I mean, they don't really have a weak link on offense. So it's hard to not see them being able to score. And the Denver doesn't have that. So I don't really know where Denver's getting their points from necessarily every week. The Falcons, I do. And so with that, I'm going to take them and think that maybe this is the start of the turnaround these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons too, just basically for all the same reasons you said. Just I don't really have a lot of faith in the Broncos. Although they were my highlight of the week, they barely pulled that win out, and that was against a team that I think is worse than the Falcons, though I'm not sure. And now they're going to Atlanta. I just don't. It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Raiders at Chargers.
You know what? Give me the Chargers. I think you sold me when you talked about how paltry the Raiders or Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield combined for offensive passing, and I think Justin Herbert outgained both of them combined this week, or came real close. I think Justin Herbert is a emerging superstar very quickly, and I think he's going to show it against the Raiders.
I've got the Raiders in this one. I think the Raiders are just a better overall team. They can smell a playoff berth. They're 4-3 right now. This would be a big win for them and a crushing loss. So I'm going to go with the Raiders here.
I would agree with you that the Raiders seem like a better team. I don't know why. I think Justin Herbert is figuring things out very quickly. So
it's the NFL. No one thinks that the Bengals are better than the Titans, but last week they were. So I mean, it's just the way the NFL. Same thing with the Vikings and the Packers. No one thinks now that the Vikings
and the Dolphins.
Yeah, just the way it is. Yep. Speaking of the Dolphins at Cardinals. Yeah, this is a prove it game for the Dolphins. If the Dolphins find a way to go into Phoenix and get Arizona and get this win, then then we have to start really rethinking our expectations for the Dolphins this season.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cardinals. Here's a funny one. Steelers at Cowboys. Just going to write it down for you.
Are the Steelers going to play with half their team or
second string Steelers?
The Steelers could play. Yeah, second. I would still take the second string Steelers over starting for the Cowboys right now.
If we were doing, it's funny. I don't even know what the spread was with the Steelers at the Cowboys. I'm not sure how I didn't take that one because I was like, if you said the Steelers -10, I'm like, probably the Steelers. Like, but
that's a really good question. Let me see. Actually, because maybe it's not even listed. I mean, what are the chances, by the way, that Ben DiNucci actually survives this game against TJ Watt?
Not very high, especially with the offensive line. Yeah.
And who's next? I don't even see on DraftKings that we use the DraftKings Sportsbook. I don't even see this game listed.
Maybe they didn't list it because they don't know who the starting quarterback's going to be, as if it matters.
Yeah,
but maybe.
Yeah, maybe it'll show up later in the week. But I don't.
Because they're like, how do we not take this? Either way. All right. So here's one. They took your advice. Sunday Night Football. Saints at Buccaneers.
Okay, there you go. Give me the Bucs. I mean, I feel like their defense has gotten much better since their first matchup, and the Saints have gotten offensively worse since their first matchup. And we still don't know if Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders are playing. So, give me the Bucs.
That was one thing I was going to say. I'd be curious to see if Michael Thomas would be back, but I'm still taking the Bucs. I just think they're, as you said, they're moving in opposite directions as far as the quality of play.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Monday Night Football, another day off for us, I think. The Patriots at the Jets.
Why is this game on television? Oh, my God. The Patriots at the Jets.
So I just want to say in defense of the NFL, I don't think that they can move. Like, I think contractually they cannot flex out games on Monday Night Football. I think the schedule gets set. Yeah. And I think that, I don't know why you would ever want the Jets on Monday Night Football, like when you're setting schedules, but I think the New York market plus the Patriots being at the end of their dynasty, probably sold upon having this game on Monday Night Football. Yeah. I took the Patriots.
Yeah, give me the Patriots, I guess. I don't even know what to say about that game. Wow.
Yeah.
That should not be on television.
Yeah. That's it.
All right.
Those are picks. We differ on Washington Giants, Vikings, Lions, and Raiders, Chargers. So we have 3 games different. We'll see what happens.
You could take the lead. I mean, I hope you don't, but overall season lead. So, all right. Well, so that's going to do it for us. Once again, you can follow us along iHeartRadio podcasting app, Amazon or Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube. Follow us along on social media, Facebook, Instagram, the Benchwarmerz Podcast, at the BW Pod on Twitter, or email us at the Benchwarmerz Podcast at yahoo.com. Benchwarmers with a Z. So that'll do it for another show in the books. For Jose Ortiz, I am Lou Ruggieri, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.